Hey everyone, this is Romain from rainphotosclub.com. This is an online photography platform for beginner photographers to start to improve their photography and learn how they can make their photos better. So today I have 6 quick tips to improve your photography during lockdown. We are currently on lockdown in South Africa, so I have taken all of these photos with my mobile phone. It's nothing fancy, it's just a Huawei P30 Lite. So it should give you an idea of what you can actually get away with or what you can do during lockdown, and how you can improve your photos no matter what camera you have. Whether you have a mobile phone or a DSLR, it doesn't matter. You can use any camera tool that you have. So the first tip I'm going to give you is for the shooting in the right light. So the best light is generally the first hour of daylight in the day and the last hour of daylight during the day. This is typically known as golden hour. You can push this a bit, so it can be more like 2 to 3 hours on either side. But generally, you want to avoid shooting in the middle of the day, especially if you're photographing people, because you'll get harsh shadows on their face, and it just doesn't look that great. But when you photograph in golden hour in particular, you get really nice light that kind of goes like you see coming through here on the lavender, and that's why it's known as golden hour, because it gives this beautiful orange glow to everything. So my first tip is definitely to use good light when you photograph, and start with golden hour and with the best times of the day. The next tip I'm going to give you is to do with shadows and light. So it kind of follows on from the previous one, because in those first or last hours of the day, you get these longer shadows, which creates interesting patterns and things like that. So if you are photographing at that time of day, you'll notice that there's interesting shadows and light that you can add to your photo, which will add drama and make them look more interesting. So here I've used the clothes pegs to do this. Again, it's fairly early morning, so about 6-7 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, I like the shadows on the wall, and it just added an extra dimension for me, and made my photo more interesting. So yeah, look for things like this to really start to add some drama to your photos. The next tip is going to be to get closer to your subject and to look for interesting details or textures in your subject, especially during a time like lockdown where everything seems like you're photographing the same thing over and over. The trick is to find a different way to photograph. And so macro photography is really taking off during lockdown, but you can get even closer with your phone as well, zooming in slightly if your phone won't focus, so you stand a little bit back and zoom in. But you can get some really interesting textures and details of your world surrounding you if you just look a little bit harder. My next quick tip is going to be to change your angle. So to start shooting from the ground or from above your subject will make your subject much more interesting and out of the ordinary. So instead of shooting straight on, think about getting lower or higher. We've all seen those shots of photographers getting into all sorts of weird angles. This is why, because we want to get an interesting shot or make it out of the ordinary. So this is a good one to try out. My next tip is going to be to blur your background. So if you want your subject to stand out from your background a little bit, then you should really look at blurring it. You can also see more about this in this video here. You will see a little window come up at the top. But yeah, so blurring your background is an interesting way to really bring your subject out from the background and make them stand out. And my sixth and final tip is if you can't blur your background, then you need to try and keep your background as simple as possible. So things like this and this and this, really you want to try and avoid having those. Otherwise it would have been a nice photo. There's just a lot of distracting things in this photo. So you want it to end up a little bit more clean and have a background like this, so your focus is immediately on your subject. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed all of the quick tips here. You can quickly start adding these into your photos and practicing them. I hope you have fun, and I hope to see some of your results soon. If you're not a subscriber, then please do subscribe. There's a little subscribe button in the corner here. And click on the notification so that you get notified when there's new videos available. I will continue to post free tutorials all the time. And there is also paid options if you want to go onto rainphotosclub.com, which will allow you to send photos to me and have feedback so that you continually improve. Otherwise, happy photo making, and I hope to hear from you soon. Cheers.